think we all know November is going to be a busy month with the election happening tomorrow and the holidays quickly approaching. So what do the stars have to say about this, and how can they help us navigate? Astrologer Stephanie Gailing is here with me now for some guidance. Welcome back to New Day.
Thank you, Kelly.
Yes, so nice to meet you. I love this kind of stuff. So I have some questions. I just want to get right into it. Beyond our personal sun signs and horoscopes, how can astrology bring more awareness in our lives?
Yeah, so by looking at where the planets are, think of it like a weather report. Right, something that here us in Seattle check a lot of the time.
Every day.
So you know, like, what is the vibe? What is the energy of the day or of the time, right? Is it going to be like full of ease? Are there going to be certain challenges? So that knowing that allows us to prepare to orient to the moment in different ways.
Wow, I love that so much. And November this month has a lot going on, going to be very, very busy. So what are a few words that you would describe November from an astrology perspective?
Intense.
Oh, okay.
Transformative. Provocative. Yeah, a lot of things that people are already coming into November thinking, but the astrology really reinforces and mirrors that.
Wow, okay, I like that. Provocative, okay. And what makes you think that November is going to be like this, of course?
Yeah, so November started out, right, on November 1st we had a Scorpio new moon, right? So we entered into the month with this invitation for depth, for plumbing below the surface, right? For like really feeling into the depths and the intensity of our emotions. So this is how November began, and then 2 days later, so yesterday, we had this opposition between Mars and Pluto, which, you know, has us really feel more sensitive to feeling triggered or provoked, and really marshaling our will to want to fight for things that really resonate with the depth of who we are.
Wow.
So it's pretty intense.
Pretty intense. That's the word everyone needs to know moving into this month. And when is the full moon happening this month?
Yeah, so this month's full moon is right in the middle of the month on the 15th.
Okay.
And it's going to be quite an interesting full moon. It connects with certain planets which are inviting us to really be open to surprise, to really feel that I feel like a really good strategy around that full moon is to be ready to pivot, to be open to there being a detour or taking a detour yourself, all the while making sure that things add up. You know, having your punch list and like going over things very slowly, right? Making sure that your foundation has solidity and not cutting corners. And I feel like that is the way to really move through that mid-month full moon without feeling, or say it differently, with feeling as much ease as there can be.
This is so interesting. I could listen to you forever. I love it. And I understand there is a Mercury retrograde coming again is this the end of November? What tips do you have for us?
Yeah, so that's the thing with Mercury retrograde is that people feel oftentimes really worried or scared. I'll just like hide under the couch for like 3 weeks, right? Like people think that like relationship, you know, communication breaks down or their tech devices break down. I think Mercury retrograde is a really incredible time because what's happening is the planet Mercury, which is the planet of communication, appears to be going backwards in the sky. As it retraces its steps, so should we in the realms of communication and messaging. So the best thing to do is take the opportunity to rewrite, to reassess, to re-edit, to go back to a conversation that felt incomplete because you might have a different orientation at that moment about it and may be able to access a whole other level of clarity that you weren't initially.
I love it. Is that your advice too for people just in general moving into November, how to navigate this space with this intensity and so much going on?
Yeah, that's definitely one way. And the other thing that I feel like we're being invited to do is to really be within ourselves, find our center and be honest. Like be really honest emotionally. How do I feel? You know, let me really be in the depths of my feelings, even those feelings that we oftentimes like keep at bay, you know, our grief or our fear or our wonder or even like extreme joy, to really be emotionally honest as much as you can with yourself, which then gives us the ability to be able to be honest with others.
I love it. This is a question that I was seeing as one that, astrology can help with. They can tell you if a relationship is going to last and just about your love life in general. Is this true? And what do you have for me?
So astrology can absolutely give you really great insights into your relationship life. How? A couple of different ways. One is by looking at your planets, and we're not just talking about your sun sign, right? Looking at your other planets, especially planets like Venus, right? The planet of love. Mars, the planet of desire. The moon, the planet that relates to what nourishes you. By looking at their placements, you can further understand the unique signatures that make up you and therefore what you want and need and desire in a relationship. Then you can look at the chart of the person you may be interested in, right, to see how you jive or how you don't, or if there is some, there's less parallel, how can you work things through so that you can better understand each other and have languaging to then come together to be able to further your dynamic?
And how, when someone would come and meet you, what are they supposed to bring them? So they can't, I'm a Cancer, but I probably need to give you more information than that. Is that correct? Or what tips do you have?
Yes. So when I see my clients, what I ask before they come is for their birthday, their birth year, the time and the place. And that allows me to draw their horoscope, which is unique to them. Right, you're a Cancer, but even the people who are born the same day as you, the same year, but at a different time, even that, there's slight differences in your chart, which reflect, of course, the unique person that you are and that they are. So I need that beforehand, and then I have your unique chart, and then we work from there.
I love that so much. And any common misconceptions that you want to talk about with astrology?
Yes, I love that.
Okay.
One is astrology is beyond sun signs, right? And I think it's really great that we have access to knowing about astrology through our sun signs. We know when our birthday is, so we know you're a Cancer, I'm a Pisces, what have you. But yet, then I think that people simplify it and think that it's just that. And then other people say how could this be real? There's more than 12 types of people, right? So it's approaching astrology first from your sun sign, but then realizing that it's way beyond that. Also, while I feel like we can, with astrology, read the signatures and the weft and the weave of the uniqueness of each person, I personally don't use it for predictive, meaning I can help you to understand you're moving through a certain period that's related to relationships or your career, but I also then feel like you have free will to make choices within that. So it's not necessarily fortune telling, if you will.
Absolutely. I like that you were able to, give us some information on there because people have some questions.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here.